Power, everyone wants it, but most believe it comes only through force, through commands, threats, or dominance. Yet force breeds resistance, and resistance breeds enemies. The true question is this: how can you bend others to your will, without them ever realizing it? Today, we unravel Machiavelli's hidden trick: how to control anyone without lifting a sword, without raising your voice, and without leaving a trace of resistance. Let me tell you a secret most rulers never understand. If you take away a man's freedom outright, he will fight you with teeth and claws until his last breath. But if you let him believe he is free, if you give him choices, even false ones, he will follow you willingly into your cage. This, my friend, is the essence of power without force. Consider the merchant who sets two prices for his wares. The first is high, the second is lower, but both yield him profit. The customer debates, weighs his options, and finally chooses the cheaper one, feeling triumphant, believing he has won against the seller. Yet the merchant smiles quietly because both doors led to the same destination: his gain. The customer feels free, but his freedom is only a mask carefully crafted. This is the illusion of choice. The trick lies not in denying options, but in designing them. You must become architect of decisions, the hidden hand that arranges the board. Offer people paths, but shape each so that no matter which they walk, they move closer to your will. This is not coercion, because coercion stirs rebellion. It is persuasion so subtle that they never realize they are persuaded. Look at politics, look at kings, look at emperors. When rulers force obedience, they spend their lives crushing uprisings. But the clever ruler offers choices: two laws, two parties, two leaders. The people quarrel, they argue, they believe they have agency. Yet all paths lead to the throne, and the throne belongs to him. He appears generous, granting freedom, while in truth he writes the script of their freedom. Even in your daily dealings, the same principle reigns. If you say to a child, "Eat your vegetables," he resists. If you say instead, "Would you like peas or carrots?" he chooses happily, never realizing both were your will from the start. Men are but children, wrapped in grown skin. They too resist command but embrace choice, even when that choice is but a painted illusion. The genius of this method lies in its silence. There are no chains, no commands shouted from above. The subject believes himself sovereign of his will. He feels dignity, pride, ownership of his actions. He says, "I chose this." And when he says this, he defends his choice with loyalty, not realizing it was never his own. You see, once a man believes his decision is his, he will fight to protect it. This is the irony. The prisoner will polish the bars of his cell if he believes he forged them himself. The citizen will march to war proudly if he thinks the decision was his vote, his voice, his cause. The ruler never forced him. He simply gave him a stage, a mask, and the lines to speak. And it is not enough to offer any choices. The choices must be crafted with precision. If you give too many, confusion spreads and men grow paralyzed. If you give too few, suspicion arises. The art lies in balance. 2 or 3 doors, each dressed differently, each leading subtly to the same chamber. The fool debates which is better, while the wise smile, knowing both were designed by the same hand. Remember this: people crave freedom more than they crave bread. Deny them bread, and they will forgive you. Deny them freedom, and they will never forget. But give them the taste of freedom, no matter how false, and they will not only forgive, they will adore you. They will defend you, for they believe you have given them what they desire most, the right to choose. Watch how markets use this power. A shopkeeper does not simply display one product. He places 3. The first, too expensive, makes the second seem reasonable. The third, too cheap, makes the second seem wise. And always the buyer selects the second, the choice the seller wanted all along. The customer walks away satisfied, never realizing he has walked into a carefully set snare. Do you see the beauty of it? The chain is invisible, the prison disguised as freedom. The man obeys, yet swears he is free. He kneels, yet believes he is standing tall. And when you master this art, you will control not by force, but by illusion. And illusions, unlike force, require no army, no guards, no weapons. Only the subtle hand of one who knows how to design choices and let others believe they are the masters of their fate. Every man believes he is rational, that he acts with logic and wisdom. Yet strip away the mask of reason, and you will find only two forces guiding him: desire and fear. These are the twin chains of human behavior: the statesman, the ruler, the seducer. Anyone who masters these two needs no sword, for when you touch what men crave and what men dread, you command them without command. Desire is the flame that pulls men forward. It blinds them, drives them, consumes them. Wealth, status, recognition, pleasure. Whatever shape desire takes, it is always the leash around their neck. Show them a treasure just out of reach, and they will march willingly into your service, believing it is their own hunger that leads them. The truth is they are not following the treasure, but you, for you are the keeper of its gate. But fear is the shadow at their back. It is the whip that makes them run when the flame of desire is not enough. Fear of loss, fear of pain, fear of ridicule, fear of death. Men will endure chains, humiliation, and cruelty, if only it protects them from the terror they cannot face. A clever ruler does not need to threaten openly. He need only hint at the storm, and the people will beg for his shelter. Do you see the symmetry? With one hand you hold the fruit, with the other you show the knife. Together, they make men dance as you wish. Too much fear, and they will revolt. Too much desire, and they will grow bold and careless. The mastery lies in weaving them together, creating a balance so delicate that your subjects believe they are moving freely, when in fact they are pulled by invisible strings. Think of the lover who promises affection, but withdraws it at will. The beloved craves the warmth, yet fears the cold absence. In this tension, control is absolute. Think of the employer who offers the promise of promotion, but pairs it with the threat of dismissal. The worker toils harder, not because he is ordered, but because his desire for advancement and his fear of loss squeeze him from both sides. Even kings have learned this truth. A ruler who governs only with love grows weak, for men grow spoiled in comfort. A ruler who governs only with terror breeds rebellion, for men will die before endless torment. But a ruler who masters both is untouchable. He shows kindness, but lets fear whisper beneath it. He grants rewards, but lets punishment linger in the shadows. His subjects both adore and tremble, uncertain where they stand, and in this uncertainty lies his strength. Observe the merchant again. He does not merely show you the luxury of his product. He whispers that only a few remain. He warns that the offer will end soon. Desire pushes you to reach. Fear tells you not to wait. You buy, not because you choose freely, but because two invisible masters, hunger and dread, commanded you. Desire and fear are not loud generals. They are subtle rulers. They work in silence, inside the mind. Once planted, they do not need your constant presence. A man who desires your reward will chase it even when you are gone. A man who fears your punishment will restrain himself even in your absence. This is the most elegant form of control, when men govern themselves on your behalf. But understand this, men rarely admit they are ruled by these forces. They tell themselves stories of logic, of justice, of choice. They believe they act by principle, when in truth they act by craving or dread. Let them believe this lie, encourage it. The strongest prison is not iron, it is self-deception. And the wise ruler knows how to build it brick by brick within the hearts of his people. The art lies not in inventing desires or fears, but in uncovering the ones already present. Every man carries hidden hunger and silent terror. Some long for recognition, others for safety, others for wealth. Some fear poverty, some loneliness, some disgrace. Once you find this secret place within them, you need not argue, you need not command. You only need to place yourself as the gatekeeper. If they desire love, become the giver of affection. If they fear abandonment, become the one who can grant belonging. If they desire wealth, hold the key to opportunity. If they fear ruin, present yourself as their shield. In either case, you hold their leash. So remember, control is not found in orders barked or threats declared. It is found in the subtle touch of longing and the whisper of dread. Men will obey willingly, even passionately, when their heart burns with desire and their spine shivers with fear. The wise do not conquer men with chains. They conquer men with the invisible chains they forge within themselves, chains of what they most want and what they most dread. Men judge by appearances. They cannot peer into hearts. They cannot see the truth that lies behind the mask. And so, the one who seeks to rule without force must learn the oldest trick of all, appear virtuous, while in truth acting only with strategy. The mask of virtue disarms suspicion, wins affection, and builds trust, but the hand beneath must remain cold, precise, and unyielding. Understand this: men want to believe in goodness. They yearn for leaders who are just, fair, merciful, and honest. Show them cruelty openly, and they recoil. Show them deceit naked, and they resist. But if you clothe your ambition in the garments of virtue, they not only forgive your actions, they will applaud them. It is not the deed that matters to the crowd, but the disguise under which it is done. Look at the fox who survives where the lion perishes. The lion announces his strength, but strength invites challengers. The fox appears harmless, yet by his cunning survives every hunt. When he steals the chicken, he moves under cover of night. And when the farmer awakens to find the coop empty, he blames wolves or fate, never suspecting the fox who curled innocently at the edge of the field. This is how power hides in plain sight: innocence on the surface, calculation beneath. History is written by such men. They wear the robe of mercy but wield the knife of necessity. A ruler may forgive publicly to win the love of his people, while secretly cutting down his enemies with silent efficiency. He may speak of unity and peace, while arranging divisions that strengthen his control. He may preach honesty and fairness, while his coffers swell with secret bargains. The masses believe in the mask because the mask comforts them. Few dare to ask what lies beneath. Consider the judge who passes a fair sentence by day, admired for his impartiality, but by night whispers to the powerful, making deals that secure his influence. The people call him righteous, yet his hand is guided not by justice but by strategy. Or consider the general who speaks of honor, who salutes the flag, who swears by loyalty. The soldiers cheer, believing his words, but behind his oath lies only calculation, moving men like pieces across a board. He may sacrifice them without hesitation, yet because he wore the mask of loyalty, they would die believing in him. Men are simple in this regard. They see what is shown, not what is hidden. They hear words, not motives. So you must give them what they wish to see and hear. Let them see kindness while your heart remains cold. Let them see fairness while you balance the scales only to your benefit. Let them see honesty while your tongue bends truth into the shape that serves you best. The danger lies in believing your own mask. Many rulers have been destroyed not by their enemies, but by their own illusion of virtue. They began wearing the mask to deceive, but grew so enamored of their reflection that they forgot it was false. Never forget the mask is a tool, not a truth. It must serve you, not enslave you. Behind closed doors, let no pretense remain, only calculation. Why is this necessary? Because power is a delicate thing. If you reveal cruelty, men will hate you. If you reveal weakness, they will despise you. If you reveal honesty, they will exploit you. Yet if you wrap cruelty in mercy, if you hide weakness behind humility, if you cloak ambition with honesty, men will not only accept your actions, they will defend them. The mask does not merely hide the blade, it turns the blade into a gift in the eyes of those you cut. Remember also that masks must change with the audience. To the soldier, wear honor; to the merchant, wear fairness; to the lover, wear devotion; to the enemy, wear civility. A ruler who wears only one mask will be discovered. A ruler who adapts wears every mask with ease, yet remains himself underneath. And what of those few who see through the mask? What of those sharp enough to sense the fox behind the sheep's wool? For them, strategy must move swiftly. Either bind them to you with reward or silence them with necessity. Do not fear their knowledge, fear only their voice. If they remain silent, your mask holds. If they speak, the mask may shatter. A wise ruler makes sure the chorus sings the tune he has written, while silencing the lone voice of dissonance. This, then, is the paradox. To rule without force, you must seem gentle, merciful, virtuous, even as you act with cold calculation. Appearances protect you, charm those beneath you, and deceive those against you. But the truth, the real truth, must remain locked within your chest, guarded from all eyes. To master men, you must let them see the saint, while you think like the devil. And when the two meet, when the mask of virtue conceals the hand of strategy, control is not taken. It is given freely by those who believe they are safe beneath your smile. Power thrives not in unity, but in division. For when men stand together, they are strong, but when they quarrel among themselves, they become pliable, soft, and easily guided. To rule without force, you must master the art of division. Not open and brutal, for that would awaken suspicion, but subtle, quiet, and disguised as natural conflict. And while they fight among themselves, you distract them with trivial rewards, entertainments, or fears. So their eyes never turn toward you, the true hand at work. Look at history. Empires that held diverse peoples together never did so by perfect harmony. No, they ruled by keeping groups at odds, ensuring that no single faction could rise against them. A wise ruler encourages rivalry between nobles, disputes between advisors, even quarrels between common men. As long as the conflict remains small, it prevents the larger storm that could threaten his throne. A man too busy fighting his neighbor has no time to question his master. The trick lies in balance. Too much division, and society collapses. Too little, and unity grows dangerous. The art is in giving just enough fuel to keep the fire smoldering, but never enough to burn down the house. One noble must envy another's wealth. One merchant must covet another's trade. One worker must resent another's wage. And while they are consumed by jealousy, rivalry, and petty disputes, you appear as the impartial judge, the figure who holds balance and order. They never suspect that it was you who whispered the spark of conflict in the first place. Consider the workplace where two ambitious men compete for advancement. If you pit them against one another quietly, each tries to prove his loyalty to you, each strives harder, and neither questions why you hold all the power. Their energy is wasted fighting for scraps, while you grow stronger. The same principle rules kingdoms, households, and even friendships. The master who can divide controls without raising a hand, but division alone is not enough. Men, even when divided, must be distracted. For a mind that grows too focused on truth becomes dangerous. Distraction is the smoke that conceals your fire. You may give them entertainment, pleasures, festivals, gossip, or even meaningless causes. Feed them enough noise, and they will mistake it for life itself. They will pour their passion into games, arguments, or rivalries, never noticing how their true power slips quietly into your grasp. Bread and games, the Romans called it. The crowd roared for the circus while emperors schemed in silence, and the people, satisfied with spectacle, forgot their hunger for freedom. This is the genius of distraction. It replaces the dangerous question of who rules us with the trivial question of who wins today's race. The mind busy with shadows no longer seeks the sun. Even fear can serve as distraction. Whisper of enemies beyond the walls, and men will squabble less about their conditions and focus on the phantom threat. Tell them their neighbor might betray them, and they will cling to your protection. Fear, when scattered carefully, divides and distracts simultaneously, keeping eyes turned outward, never inward toward the hand that directs them. But take care, distraction must feel real. If it is too transparent, suspicion awakens. The people must believe the game matters, that the rivalry is genuine, that the gossip holds weight. You need not fabricate everything. Often, human nature provides enough fuel. Men envy, men gossip, men argue over trifles. All you must do is fan the flame, add a little air, and let them burn each other slowly while you remain untouched. Think of the chessboard. The pawns fight pawns, knights clash with knights, bishops counter bishops. They exhaust themselves on one another while the king stays shielded, protected by the chaos of their small wars. That is the role of the ruler, not to fight directly, but to let others fight so he may remain safe, his position secure, his control unquestioned. Distraction also works best when paired with reward. Give men small victories, and they will focus on them instead of seeing the larger game. A token of wealth here, a title there, a promotion, a small honor. All these keep them busy with pride or rivalry. They forget the structure of power itself because they are too consumed with where they stand within it. The bones you toss them become the feast in their eyes. And if ever they begin to grow restless, if ever unity threatens to rise, stir the pot once more. Revive an old quarrel, hint at a new enemy, or create a spectacle to capture their gaze. Division weakens, distraction blinds. Together, they form the shield behind which you operate unseen. Understand this. Men do not resist when they believe they are occupied with matters of their own. A distracted man feels free, even as his leash is pulled tighter. A divided people believe they are acting by their own will, even as they move in the pattern you have drawn. The wise ruler does not shout commands. He provides the stage, the script, and the petty dramas. The actors believe the play is theirs, but the curtain only rises and falls when he decrees. So now you see the path. Force is the weapon of the weak. Chains, threats, commands. These are clumsy tools that break more than they bind. The true ruler, the true master of men, controls without ever seeming to control. He offers choices that are no choices, and men walk willingly into his design. He pulls at desire and fear, the two invisible strings that move every heart. He wears the mask of virtue so perfectly that even his enemies kneel, believing they bow to goodness, when in truth they serve strategy. And he keeps his world divided and distracted, their eyes fixed on quarrels and shadows, while his hand moves silently, always unseen. This is Machiavelli's hidden trick, to bend the will of others without battle, without noise, without resistance, to let men believe they are free when every step they take leads only to you. And in this lies the highest form of power, not the power to command, but the power to be obeyed without question, without suspicion, without end.